everybody to North Wilkesboro Speedway. I am joined tonight by Vols fan 88, otherwise known as Terry Radford. Terry, you out there?
Yeah, what up, man?
Hey, buddy. We are here tonight at North Wilkesboro Speedway, only a few hours from me, and I believe a few hours from you down there in Georgia. Um, big news, actually, that North Carolina actually put out, I think it's $15 million to restore the track and bring it back. Uh, Maybe to late models. Hopefully one day, maybe NASCAR will be able to come back here. Who knows? With all their shenanigans with extra tracks and things like that they're throwing out there, who knows? Maybe they'll bring back North Wilkesboro. But tonight we have the super late models running in the limited iRacing series. They got 100 laps tonight. Track temp is right around. Actually, it's not listed. Never mind. So no track temp. But yeah, so 100 laps. You'll be joining me for this race, and then you have a race right after this that I'll be calling as well for Turn Down for What at Watkins Glen. But getting to the action for tonight, it should be a pretty interesting race. Short track, old school racing at North Wilkesboro. There's red and white stripes down the side, on the outside and inside wall with that metal guardrail. Got some pictures flashing on the screen now for the stream. It's got most of them are the late models that I've found for pictures racing at North Wilkesboro, but kind of excited to see what happens tonight. They are getting ready to go into qualifying. It's about 5 minutes long. Quickly, I'm going to jump into the points and then try to grab the two top contenders for the regular season championship tonight, and that is going to be, as the standings come up for limited iRacing, Braden Goddard is leading by 181, or that is his points total. He is leading by only 6 points over the number 20, Tyler Holden. Both are racing tonight. Both are looking for max points to try to take home that regular season crown to go into the playoffs with 3 races to go in the playoffs, or the 3-race schedule for the playoffs before we crown an actual champion of the entire series. I don't know if you've run any of these late models, super late models, Terry, but they're pretty fun to drive. They got some slickness to the back of them, things like that. But I don't know. Have you driven in these at all?
Yeah, I did a little practice with these things for the All-American 400 and got to feel the balance of the cars. You talk about them coming off the exit, especially here at North Wilkesboro. It's one of these old historic places that when you come down in the corner, it really seats you down in it. It looks smooth from the iRacing side, but when you get on the track, it's nothing smooth about it. It's going to be interesting to see what some of these drivers are able to do tonight. As the pole sitter right now is Mr. Cryer. He's got the pole here, but he's nowhere on your points.
Yeah, Cryer is actually a late comer to the season. He won last week's race pretty dominantly, led a lot of laps. Got sent to the back due to a blinking issue. Still came back, or sorry, he did not win last week's race. Marinko won that race. But anyways, he wound up getting sent to the back with like 20 laps to go after a blinking issue on a restart where he was the leader. Blinked out. Nobody could tell where he went. So they sent him to the back, but he came flying back up through the field and wound up finishing third, I believe, by the end of the night. But Marinko was really fast. Cryer was really fast. Newman, and actually I was wrong again. Newman was the winner from last week. Sorry. Yeah, he was. Newman was the winner in the 50. My apologies. That was his first win of the season. I thought it was Marinko. Marinko was leading at the end, or towards the end of the race, and I think a lot of people were pulling for Marinko to pull off the win. But Newman was able to get by him to get that win last week. But both those two that were really fast are at the top of the qualifying table right now with first and second. Marinko's back in 8th. Your 2 points leaders, or 2 contenders for the points for the regular season, are sitting, let's see, Brandon Goddard is sitting 8th in qualifying, and Holden is sitting 4th in qualifying as of right now. Both Holden and Braden are both going to be looking for just trying to get, are both going to try to get as many points as they can, try to stay clean. They've had some caution issues in some of these races, so hopefully Holden can stay out of trouble. Last week he got caught up in 2 quick accidents, and then got caught up in an accident about halfway through the race and wound up having to be parked due to too much damage. and that gave him a bad rap for last week for point total, and that's what gave Braden the extended lead of 6 points. Holden was he took the lead in the points throughout the race, and then with him having to go to pit road and be parked, Braden was able to finish the race. I think he finished 4th or 5th, so he was able to get some more points on Holden and be able to take that lead from him going into this final race. Let's try to pull Holden real quick, and then we'll see if Braden's available as well.
I just like that the consistency is really what matters here. Between a one spot difference, I mean, average start wise, Goddard's kind of back. Average start of 8th, and then you got Holden as an average start of 4th. But that average finish of 5th and 6th really showed the model of consistency that they do. Holden holding the 2 wins, and Goddard having none. That's a bit of a shakeup of what this kind of racing will do, because if you get a bad wrap or a bad start in one of these races, you tend to not finish well. But those 2 right there has been the model of consistency all year long. I mean, other than Aiden Kenzer back there, he's average finish of 4th with a win, but I don't think he's been here for all these races, so it kind of pays dividends to the top guys at the point.
Yeah, I also don't want to count out Justin Elva sitting back there in 3rd in points. He's only 9 points back as well, or 11 points back. Sorry. So they have 12 guys racing tonight. Yeah, it's not. Had some issues with that before. But yeah, 12 drivers in the field tonight. He's going to essentially have to win this race and hope that Braden and Tyler wind up in some cautions, as now I see some late entries. We're actually up to 14. So he's really needing to finish 1st or 2nd and then hope that Braden and Goddard get caught up in some wrecks and wind up going to last before we have some people dropping out of the race or anything like that. But we're going to go green here, they're starting to grid up. So I'm going to throw it into the national anthem real quick, and we'll be right back. Give a big salute to the red, white, and blue. 66 has now taken the lead. Apologies, I was on mute. Tyler Holden was moved up into 2nd based on a penalty to the 50. Not exactly sure why the 50 got a penalty there on the restart, but he was sent to the back as they gridded up. Caution is out.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with somebody in the back there. Just looked to be a small issue back there towards the back of the field. Somebody must have got around there. You see.
Yeah, that was the 50.
50. Yeah, there's the 50 going around there, but good racing for the initial part of the front. I mean, for the 50, he started on the outside of the front row, or he was supposed to start on the outside of the front row, but couldn't get it. Trying to make up all of his positions early in the race, and it's just costly. Off the exit of 4, it's a tough spot to get.
Yeah, he got into the gas a little bit early coming off of 4, brought the rear end around, turned him into the inside wall. Doesn't look like he has too much damage on the front of that car, but he's going to have to watch coming off those corners, especially early on in the runs. The tires are slick. The track temp, now it has come back up. It is actually 81 track temp, 77 for air temp. So going to be a little slick out there. The 50 really needs to watch getting into the gas that early. I love the paint scheme, though. I love the number scheme he's got on the side and on the roof of the car. This is supposed to be their throwback car, so there's a lot of cars out here running different paint schemes. If I flip to the 38 real quick, I believe he's running a kind of a throwback to a cartoon movie, Cars, but has changed it, obviously, to the fabulous Braden Goddard. He is your points leader in the point standings at the end of this race. Will crown a regular season champion. He is that top contender as of right now, so hopefully he can be fabulous for the rest of the race and pull off that regular season championship and go into the playoffs with the first position.
I mean, don't you just love stuff like this? Throwback weekends at a throwback track. North Wilkesboro being one of the coolest tracks that has ever been scanned on iRacing, and the coolest track in the world, in my opinion. I can't wait for them to open this back up, revamp it a little bit, bring it back from the old Winston Cup series to the modern day racetrack that you see across the country. Super late models here is amazing, but I want to go back to what the 50 just did there. As he was trying to come through the gears, I kind of watched him just a little bit in the back. We had the full screen up. He wanted to sail it into the corner in turn 1, got a little loose there, and then when he came off at 4, it's more of he knew that he has to get to the front because track position plays a big factor in this race of who's going to win it. He's trying to get too much too soon, especially with it being 100 laps. These caution laps are just taking them away.
And Vols, I was just told that your mic is really low, so I'm gonna turn you up.
Yeah, it makes. Yeah, I don't get off times that often. Yeah, it's probably a little low as they're going back green here.
Yeah, 66 and 20 both start on the restart box. 20 doesn't stick with the 66 as much this time. The 71 is underneath both the 2 and the, I don't know who else that was. He was right underneath the 20, but the 20 was able to get down. 71's really trying to work hard to get by the 2, which I believe is actually the wrong number, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I like the way that the 71's roll. I like the way the 71's rolling the bottle right there. He knows that if he gets around him for third, gets around the second place guy,
we got another caution
he's going to be able to make it. As caution comes out again, it's another step of people pushing the car too hard. It's 10 laps into this race, and everybody wants to get to the front, man. It's 3 this time.
Yeah, the 98 and the 50. 98 looked like he hit the inside bump there and had to check up, and the 50 was not aware of it. Clipped his back end, turned him into the wall, and I believe that was the 3, and somebody else might have been involved in that one as well. So 98's going to get some damage, going to go into this race here with some damage, going to have to make up some positions, make up some time on pit road, trying to get that big old dent on the right side banged out. But these cars don't really need the aerodynamics. We've seen a few races this season. Comes to mind Brad Herman early on in the season. He was actually rolling on his hood at one point and scraping down the roof and was able to come back and win that race. So there's definitely some leeway on the damage to these cars with as fast as they pick up the gas coming out of the corners and then have to get slowed back down to go into the next corner. So aerodynamics is not a big deal.
No, it's not like the race that I called last Monday night where they had these cars at Michigan. The aerodynamics here at North Wilkesboro, like you were talking about, the front straightaway and the back straightaway are only about they're about a quarter length of your normal racetrack. So you see the pace car coming down. By the time they get into where the yellow mark is on the side of the wall, they're going to go down to the corner. They're already braking. You barely get these things up to about 80 miles an hour, and you're already back down on the brake, and you're hard on the brake to get it to set through the middle of the corner. So no, you could crunch the whole front end of these things up. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think we saw one a couple weeks ago missing the front end, and he was still in the front row. So definitely not really worried about the aerodynamics or anything like that. You want to try to keep your car as clean as possible, obviously, but if you get a few little dings or dents on it, it's not going to be that big of a deal, especially racing these short track formats that they're doing here at Limited iRacing Series. Terry, one of the guys I'd like to put a spotlight on is that 71 of Aiden Kaiser. You mentioned earlier, as we go green, he had 2 wins, but he's only been here maybe part-time throughout the season. Every race he gets in, as he gets in some damage there from the 2 of Hall, kind of comes up into him and chops his nose a little bit. I don't think Kaiser's going to be too happy about that, but he's going to try to make his way back up to the front as the 67 is now underneath the 71 and actually gives him a little bit more damage to that left front. But, yeah, the 71 of Kaiser is really fast. Him and Cryer both, I think, are 2 of the faster guys in this series. They're not full-time drivers. So when you see those numbers come into the race, everybody kind of looks up towards the front, and those guys are normally the ones there.
Well, you put the spotlight on them, and that's something when I paid attention to in the points is, hey, you're not here
caution.
all the time. You don't have to be here all the time to be good. And that's the thing we were looking at with the 71 and the 66. Both of those drivers can be part-time all they want. It's not hurting them to come out here and race these races and win. It's hurting the competition.
Yeah, it's essentially
everybody
trophy
else
hunting.
who's running for the points. Yeah, they're trophy hunting. And everybody who comes out here and they're in the points, that gives them a benchmark to beat. And you see right now you have Cryer leading and you have the 71 of Kaiser in third. Well, Hall's right there with them. So is Holden. Those 2 drivers know that when the 66 and the 71 show up to this event, you have to get through them. And you can't really beat the best if you don't have the competition out here to do it. So it's good to see more people stepping up, and we'll see if Kaiser or Cryer were full time right here. This would have been an easy ride for them throughout here as they still hold this lead.
Well, the cool thing, too, is I believe for the playoff format, you only have to show up for 3 races and have a win throughout the season. So Kaiser has been here more than 3 races. He has the win. Cryer, I believe, has a win and has been here more than 3 races. If not, this is his 3rd race. So both of them will still qualify for the playoffs. If they show up for all 3 races in the playoffs, these 2 are 2 guys, along with Marinko, along with a couple others, as Marinko's moved up through the field a little bit there, as I'm noticing. But there's a few others that have both been, or all have been really fast. Also, Brad Herman was here for 3 races, won 2 of them, but has not been here since he got his third race. I don't know if he's going to show up for the playoffs. There is big money. I think there's like 25, 50, and I think the end of the season is 100 for the winner. So that could be a chance for Brad Herman to come back in here. The 2 races he won, he pretty much dominated both of them. But at the same time, Cryer was not here when Herman was running. So I'd love to see Cryer, Herman, and Kaiser, Holden, Goddard, all these guys battle it out in the playoffs. As we go green again, the 66 gets a great jump.
He's doing a great job through the gears. I just love super late models. These things right here are some of the funnest things to drive, and they're the funnest things to call too, because you get this side-by-side action. You get the bumpers to them. As you see the 2 right here, the 2 and the 71, that's payback. Yeah. That's short track payback from the 71 to the 2.
I think that was, you gave me a dent earlier. I'm going to give you a dent now.
The 2 fastest guys right there with one another. But that's good. That's good short track racing. I mean, 21 laps into the event, didn't cause the caution, just said, hey, you rubbed me the wrong way a little bit earlier. I'm going to rub you the wrong way too.
Well, the thing, though, is did Kaiser do that payback a little early? We're only 21 laps in the race, 22 now, like you said. You know, should he have waited till maybe a little bit later when it meant something? I don't know. I don't know if I would pull the trigger on giving somebody a little bit of payback or not giving them any kind of room and moving them up the track a little bit this early in the race. But Kaiser is the type of driver where he wants to go to the front and then just get away from everybody. But another caution just came out. It looks like the 50, again, is in this one. We'll see what caused this one.
I think Kaiser did what he had to do right then and there. You have to go. You can't sit back and tear your tires up in these, and it's just another incident with the 50 right here coming off the exit. Looks like the 18 bounces off the wall a little bit and comes down, gets him on his side. It's short track racing, man, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's not a whole lot of room here off the exit of these corners. So nothing the 18 could have done there, and the 50 was an innocent bystander.
Yeah, that's actually the 180 for some reason. It says 18, but then there's a little thing after it. But it's supposed to be the 180 of Johnson is who it's supposed to be. The bad thing about the 50 is, obviously he started on the front row, but got sent to the back before we even went green, and he has been battling with these guys back here, trying to get back up to the front, where he knows he was one of the faster guys in qualifying, and just is getting caught up and caught up and caught up. I've always heard that, it's a hornet's nest when you're stuck back here, and I mean, he's been stung a few times already. I think he's been involved in at least 3 of the 4 cautions already. One of them, obviously, he slid up the track a little bit and touched somebody. The other guy bumped the inside corner there at the grass and came back up the track, and then he had nowhere to go. And then, obviously, this one, the 18 got a little loose off the wall, or a little loose off of the turn, and came down and turned him into the wall. The 50's got to be frustrated, but there's not a whole lot he can do being back here in this hornet's nest.
Well, I mean, the only person the 50 can be mad at is himself. Whatever he did to cause himself to get an EOL penalty, it's his own fault. And I know he's probably going to go back and watch this and go, man, that Terry guy was mean. But if you put yourself in a position to have to go to the back and you start back there, you have to be methodical to get back to the front. And unfortunately, he's been caught up in a couple incidents. He's got a fast car, but he just can't make anything of it. He's getting stuck back in traffic, and he's going to have to play reverse strategy. He's on pit road now. Obviously, he can go 26 more laps versus the rest of the field, so he's going to have to reverse the strategy to get up front. I think Curtis is muted again. 66 going to get another good jump, but 71 is going to be on the low side there. 66 gets clear going into 3. Now it's a 3-way fight right now for this lead, and here comes Marinko, who's doing a fantastic job moving through the field.
Yeah, I was on mute. I was trying to write in the chat, but I didn't want the typing to come through, so then forgot to unmute. But yeah, the 66, the 71, and Marinko, that 54, that's the guy I was talking about from last week. He was very fast, as we have another caution out on track, and it looks like it's the 50 and the 3 and the 98 again.
And SS Motorsports comes in the chat, says pulling for green flag racing. Man, it's yeah, they're clicking off some laps under caution as the 50 gets caught in it one more time off the exit of the corner. Thought he was clear.
Newman's
was not clear. Him and the 3 make contact, and
Newman's going to be headhunting after this, because that's the 3rd one that he's been caught up in by somebody else's issues. The 3 got loose coming off the corner there, clipped the right rear and just turned him into the wall. And I think he just got some of that damage fixed from the earlier wreck before this. I think the 50's really going to be irritated, frustrated, and is probably going to be doing some headhunting, and also if that speaks volumes for the other guys on track, because now, he's been wrecked 4 times out of 5 cautions, or been involved in 4 of the 5 cautions. So the guys in the back are either going to have to move out of his way, or I have a feeling he's going to be moving them himself, because I think he's tired of getting caught up in these things.
I mean, I tell you what, I'm almost going to have to go get another Rowdy Energy to stay awake here with all these cautions. They're lulling me to sleep. Hopefully they don't put me to sleep before my race over there and turn down for what. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of excited to see what happens at Watkins Glen over there, but
I'm going to win it.
We'll see.
Stir the pot up in the chat when I say I'm going to go win. Green flag's back in the air.
Why is it not caught up? All right, 66 back out front. Kaiser's back in second. Somebody was just up on the wall on two wheels. I'm not sure who that was, but the numbers are definitely messed up. The 54 Marinko looks like he's running the, what is that, the 67 paint scheme. 2 of Hall is back there in fourth. I think he's who I saw up on two wheels. These 3 up front are probably the 3 faster guys, the 3 I would expect to be up here. 67 gets real loose coming off that corner. The 2 tries to dive underneath him.
That was a good block right there from the 54. He got down
got
there
loose
with
again.
a block going in the corner, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Two's loose off the exit. Man, and the battle for the lead's heating up too. Here comes Kaiser. He's right on the back bumper of Cryer, and Hall's doing everything he can to get around that beautiful little 67.
Yeah, Hall's underneath the 67 of Marinko, and the 12 of Keller's sitting there like, come on, guys, figure this out so I can get around you, because he's kind of roadblocked right now with the 2 of them battling it out, both getting loose on different corners. The 71 and 66 are trying to stretch their lead out, and the 71's trying not to let the 66 get too far out in front of them. But I see a lot of guys getting loose. I'm seeing a lot of guys trying to catch their car. Either the rear end's coming around or they're having to turn it hard right to keep the rear end from going. But it's kind of a slick track right now. Track temp is still 81. Looks like the 12 got underneath the 54 of Marinko, though.
And this is a product of old tires. It's got a lot of heat in them. We've been through 3 heat cycles so far. And when I say heat cycles, I'm talking about we ran 5 laps, and that sets a cycle on the tires. You're coming in the corner, heavy on the brake, getting around here, heavy back on the gas off the exit. You're spinning them a lot, so your rear tires have heated up. Your front, not so much unless you block the brakes up. But the track's also heated up too just a little bit. We've laid some rubber down. You got a lot of slick out there. 40 laps into this run with 60 to go. It's going to be interesting to see when the pit stop starts to take place. There's a car in the grass, and I think he saved it.
Yeah, but it brought out the caution, though.
Yeah, I didn't know until last week that any car at a 45-degree angle brings the caution out with iRacing.
Ooh, and that actually was not the caution. It was the 66 of Cryer, the leader, hitting the wall and bounced into the wall and almost came to a complete stop, and the 77 ran right into the back of him.
Yeah, barely any damage to those cars, though. That's intriguing. Ooh, he slapped fire out of that thing.
He slapped it pretty hard. He went up on 2 wheels. Kaiser had nowhere to go, though. The 98 might have brought out the caution, but these 2 were definitely close to bringing out a caution.
Yeah, he slapped the mess out of that one. That was like Ike smacking Tina.
Yeah, that was iceberg dead ahead for that one. 98's going to get a lap back. 66 still out front with the 71 on the second position. Hall has moved into third. Keller has moved into fourth. Marinko has fallen back to fifth. And third place in points, Elvis is sitting back there in sixth. Holden has fallen to eighth. And I'm not sure where Braden Goddard is in 10th. So as of right now, Elvis is made up the most points on these guys. He still needs to get a few more positions and still needs to hope Holden and Goddard keep falling in the standings here.
Wonder how many Elvis Presley jokes he heard growing up as a kid.
I'm sure a few.
I'm sure a few, too. I wonder what his favorite Elvis song is, though. I think that's a question we should ask him if we finish his top 3.
It was a song that played at my wedding a couple weeks ago.
I would say mine's Suspicious Minds. That's one of my favorite ones. Always a good question to ask people. What's your favorite Elvis song? Especially when your last name's Elvis.
I figured you were going to say Ain't Nothing Like a Hound Dog.
Oh, well, that's a good one, too. I don't know. Suspicious Minds, it's just, it's got a catchy little melody to it. We can go on together.
As we have a solo from Terry Redford.
Well, like I said, it ain't often I get Sundays off, and hey, you know what's got to do before you go racing? I mean, 15 minutes away, I'll click into practice, and we're gonna do 2 at once. I'm gonna run a couple laps at the Glen, and then we'll call this race with you.
Yeah, Can't Help Falling in Love with You was the song that played on my wedding, so.
That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one. It's you know that it was one of the only songs in the modern era to not only hit #1 with the original artist, but hit it 2 more
Yeah,
times
multiple times.
with other artists as well, because they remade it for rock and then they remade it again for like a country music one, and it set up on the Billboard Top 100 for a while.
We go green here again. A lot of the leaders have still not come down for tires. They're on 46 lap old tires. Everybody else has taken tires or gone through the pits. 66 and 71 are really battling it out up front here. 71 and 66 are almost door banging off each other. 66 is having a little bit of a blinking issue. Hopefully that's not an issue that sends him to the back again this week. The 2 of Hall is getting a little impatient back there as he's looking to take a 3 wide into turn 3 and 4. But
he does. He tried.
Where'd the 71 go?
Both of them are blinking. Both of them blink. As the 71, he slides through the middle. He goes all the way back to 5th place there.
I've lost the 71.
Yeah, holy crap. What an interesting turn of events for the past 2 laps.
I've lost the 71 completely. I don't even know where he's at on track.
I've lost him too. I'm sitting here looking for him. It's like, where's Waldo?
Oh, he's falling out. He lost connection.
Oh,
he's on pit road.
Boo. But here comes the 2.
Here comes the 2 of Hall. He's going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, the 2 said, hey, pardon me, but now I got a chance to beat him. And 2's doing a good job. He's a little impatient right here. But hell, impatience is where it's at. You got to get around the blinking machine. You can't sit behind him. You don't know where he's going to be at. So look for that 2 to get aggressive, just like the 71 was.
Yeah, we're halfway through this race tonight at North Wilkesboro. You got Hall and Cryer battling it out side by side, lap after lap now. Who's going to get out in front? And the 2 tries to slide up in front of the 66 and is not able to do it. The 66, backs out and gives him the position. Now tries to duck underneath him, hits the grass. 2's going to pull away.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, he's the 66 of Cryer. He's trying every which way possible. But when you're starting to have blinking issues, the smartest thing to do is to move out of the way. I know you don't want to give the positions up, but you got Holden. He's coming back through the field. He's moved up to the P3 spot, and you got to find that opportunity to get to where you got to go. And the caution comes back out. That's 7, 8-ish. That's the 3, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 3.
It's
a 3 of Eli Lewis. Looks like he's got a Trump 2020 paint scheme going on. The 180, dove right underneath him and turned him. Those 2 have battled out in several races, so I'm not sure if they like each other or if they hate each other, because they battle hard every time they're next to each other.
Well, hell, you got to bring the competition out of somebody, and if those 2 are the 2 that are going to bring it out of one another, you're fighting back here. Not the night neither one of them wanted. They both been involved in incidents here this evening. You got to find a bright spot in something, and if the bright spot's racing around somebody that you can trust, and right there is just a little bit of an issue. When he came down into the corner, the 180 just got a little up out of the groove, and the 3 goes around. But hey, they keep chugging along as we see some strategy plays. There's 2 down pit road now.
It looks like Marinko and is that? Nope, that's the 66 of Cryer, the 12, and the 3 are all coming down pit road. So that's a leader or a lead guy that is now coming down for tires, and he won't have to stop again. However, we did have a race a couple weeks ago where 2 guys did not pit the entire race of 120 laps. They did not pit the entire race. Now, we did have, I believe, somewhere in the teens for cautions, so they were able to save a lot of fuel. They didn't really worry about their tires. They were the guys that were first and second, and they just kept leading the field as the cautions kept flying. But those guys led the entire way, did not pit for tires or fuel the entire race. I was a little surprised, but they were able to pull it off. So we'll see if it happens again tonight. As Hall's the only one that has not come down pit road.
With the cautions falling the way they fell, I mean, tires hasn't meant a whole lot. I mean, I haven't watched anybody come through the field and just drive through there because they had fresh tires. But I would be interested to see what the 66 of Crier can do, because he's been consistently one of the fastest guys out here. If he can work his way through the field, that might be an eye-opener for Hall that, hey, save the set of tires, come down, know that they're going to come with me, and you just cycle back out with everybody else.
Yeah, and as you look at here, the 20 of Holden, second place in points, is now sitting second on that inside row, and first in points is right behind him. The 38 of the fabulous Braden Goddard is sitting third.
Wreck him.
And then also the 4 of Justin Elvis, who sits third in points, is sitting in fourth, right next to the 38 and right to the diagonal from the 20. This is going to heat up the points battle real good for the end of the season here. Ooh, the 2 gets an amazing jump. Jeez, left him in the dust.
Goddard's been struggling all race, and for him, he's reset his strategy too. He's up in the top 3, now top 4. He's going to have to make a good opportunity out of a bad situation, because he, like I said, he hasn't had a fast car to go up here and contend with them. But now he's up in
another caution coming out,
and caution comes out.
Ooh, you got one rolling down the corner here on his roof.
And in the slowest caution we've ever had, the 98 goes around.
10 went around, 98 went around, 2 separate instances. But the 66 of Crier was right above the 10 as he came across the 30. These numbers are messing with me. 54 of Marinko. And then the 98 was on the outside of the 66 and went up into the wall and then kind of flipped himself over and rolled down the corner.
He just ran out of room. He just honestly just ran out of room on what he was doing coming down the back or the front straightaway there, and just started driving up on the wall. I mean, hey, whatever you can do to get around somebody.
So the front 4 did not change very much. The 4 has moved to third, and Goddard has moved back to fourth. I think the 20 and the 4 are really going to have to pay attention to these restarts, because the 2 just left everybody like they were asleep.
Well, the 2's been up here. He's been watching what the 66 was able to do, and the 66 is already up to 5th. I mean, so don't sleep on that. He's really made the tires work into 1. He just said, I got to go. And here he is. He's back into the picture. And this could spell trouble for the 2 up front, because if the 66 gets around these guys, gets up there to his back bumper, it's going to be an easy shot to the lead and to the win if that 2 doesn't stop.
He's also got fresh tires, which means he don't have to stop anymore. The 2, if he does have to stop, that's going to work him back into the field. He's got a great jump again, leaves the field. The 20 also gets a great jump on the inside, goes down into 1 and 2, both coming around the corner. The 2's really hugging that white line. The 20's kind of diamonding it a little bit. The rest of the field has fallen back almost a half a second from the 20, as it sounds like another car is spinning out back there. The 4 is up the track. 38 is around. I was going to say, I could hear tires screeching. Ooh, the 4 of Justin Elvis gives him a little love tap and sends him into the corner.
And that's a bad day gone worse for the 38. The old Hudson Hornet out here wrecking at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, that helps the 20 of Holden. It's not going to help Justin Elvis in the 4, because I believe they give whoever starts the caution an EOL. So that's going to send him back to the back with the 38 that went around.
Well, luckily for the 4, he doesn't have to drop back too far, because there's a couple guys that are already out of this event, and there's some that are a lap down that are a little bit off the pace, like the 11 or the 11th place driver Tracy and the 10 of Carroll. They're just a tad bit off, but this is going to be interesting with about 35 to go when they take this green flag. How long can that 2 stay out? And the 66 has already he jumped another position. He's in 4th now, so.
Well, that's because the third placement or the 4th placement, Braden Goddard, went around from the 4, pushing him into the corner. So that cleared another spot for the 66 to come up. And actually, I think it's going to put him in. Is that going to put him in 3rd, or is that going to put him in 4th? I'm showing him 3rd.
Well, at the EOL for the 4, yep, that's going to put the 66 to 3rd. Now the 2 needs to start thinking about his strategy, and he's going to have to get going real fast.
He's going to have to hope that these cautions keep falling his way, because these tires He's on 65 lap old tires. We have 36 to go, and the 66 is only on 11 lap old tires. So
And only 3 laps under green.
yeah,
I mean, that's the thing for the two as well, is we truly haven't run most of this race under the green flag. So those tires might have had a couple heat cycles in them, but not a whole lot to tear them up.
as we go green again, another caution came out.
Right off the jump.
I think that was the 54 that went around in that one, so let me check it real quick. Oh, yeah, he got loose, tried to correct it, overcorrected, went right into the wall, flipped himself over. The 3 was involved in that one. The 38 was involved in that one. And then the 67 comes to a complete stop up in the corner on his roof.
This has turned into the demolition derby at North Wilkesboro.
North Wilkesboro used to be a bump and bang kind of race, so these guys are definitely giving it that bump bang move out of the way type feeling, and it's kind of good to see it come back to North Wilkesboro. I'm really excited. Obviously, like I said, there was a big announcement for North Carolina, my state that I live in, that the state was going to allocate, I think, $15 million to restore North Wilkesboro and bring it back. So hopefully that means that super late models will be coming back. Some other series, maybe the open wheels, the modifieds, things like that. And then obviously with NASCAR throwing in all these different wild card one-off races and things like that, like they have next year with the race out in California at the Rose Bowl Stadium and stuff. I don't know. I would love to see it come back, even if it's a one-off or a special race every 4 years or something like that. It's got so much tradition. You don't throw $15 million into restoring a track to not try to bring it back for this. I mean, that race next year that's out before Daytona is what? Is it like a quarter-mile race inside that stadium?
I don't think it's that. I don't know, man.
It's super small.
If I was NASCAR, and somebody asked me this the other day, Terry, if you were NASCAR, what would you do with North Wilkesboro? And I said, put the trucks on it. See what the trucks do, and because it's not going to allocate enough spots for the Cup Series or the Xfinity Series with the attendance that it's going to be able to hold there. Bring the trucks, see how quick it sells out, and see how good of a race it is. And if it's a fantastic race, viewership's amazing, bring the damn Xfinity cars here. Put some of those trucks with the bleachers on the back of it, throw some more stands in it. And if that one sells out fast and it's a great show, put the damn Cup cars out here and stop with these gimmicky ass races. That Rose Bowl race looks stupid. You got all these tracks across the entire world that you could put a race at, and they go off and do something at the Rose Bowl, which in my opinion is just something to try to compete with the NFL.
The Super Bowl is right there, so
yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. I'd rather them come back to Wilkesboro, Rockingham, bring those tracks back. Give the NASCAR fans that experience of the old style. Guys like you and I that watched them as a kid, or well, maybe not you because you're a little younger, but
I remember North Wilkesboro.
Okay. Well,
Calm down.
I
remember this track on the schedule.
Well, I was showing my age a little bit, so I wasn't sure if you were able to watch it since you're a lot younger than I am, but. Yeah, watching North Wilkesboro, watching Rockingham, those style of races. When you brought back Darlington, it's obviously a great track. No ifs, ands, or buts about, bringing that track back. But $15 million to go into Wilkesboro, there's got to be something they can do to give it a little bit more of a spruce up for fans with the stands and bring them attendance and things like that. Obviously there's a lot that they're going to have to do to this track to bring it up for that style of racing, but $15 million, there's a lot of people out there who want to see this. Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, they were all talking about trying to go in on it to do it themselves. So I'm sure money can be raised to do it. North Carolina, the state, like I said, put $15 million into restoring it. You got to do something. Bring it back. Like I said, a one-off race, kind of like the Indy race they're talking about doing, every 4 years, doing it on the oval part. If you can run those next-gen cars in the Rose Bowl, you should be able to run them here on North Wilkesboro.
Well, that's like I talked about with NASCAR doing the gimmicky races. You go out, and how many great dirt short tracks do we have in the United States of America.
True.
There's over 75. Easily 75 that you can take a cup car to and put them out there. But you dirt Bristol. You dirt the last great Coliseum for what reason? It drew a lot of money, but it was probably one of the worst races we've ever seen because it tore up the track. It did nothing good, and you don't have to go dump a ton of dirt on Eldora or Knoxville, Iowa, or any of these other amazing places that you could go to. But yeah, they're trying the gimmicky stuff, and I'm sure it's going to pay off for Los Angeles, but it's not going to pay off for a place like this.
I don't think we're going to go
restart,
green very
I think they'll
long.
wreck it again.
Yeah. I haven't seen a caution come out yet, but the 2 had a great jump over the 66 of Cryer. Holden's now on the outside of Cryer. Cryer was not ready for that jump by the 2. And 2 pulled away on these old tires, 77 lap old tires, 23 to go. Somebody definitely was loose. I thought it was the 180, and I thought they came back up in the track into the 98. As we see the 98 now on pit road. So it looks like that might have corrected the 180 from spinning around, but the 180 or the 98 got some damage out of that and had to come down pit road.
I'm impressed by what the 2's been able to do here. You see the gap starting to close. It's down to 0.4 of a second, creeping up a little bit there in the center of the corner. But I don't think the 66 really is playing into the strengths of what the 2's been able to do. He's sailing it in more than what the 2 is, and the 2's getting a better launch off the exit because he's not really tearing his tires up. You see here, the gap will drop when he goes in, but when they start the exit, you see that the 66 can't get the power down, as I think the 12 just touched the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, 12 scraped the wall a little bit, but the 2, he's letting off a lot earlier than the 66, and he's just rolling through the corners, and he's able to get back in the gas and not spin the tires. And then it's just pulling the momentum out of the corners as it kind of dips into the corner and kind of just shoves you and shoots you out of the corner. And he's using it to full advantage. As you see, like you said, Cryer is dropping it down to like 4/10, 5/10 in the corner as he goes in. But then as the 2 comes out, he stretches it back to 7/10. This is all the 2 needs to do is keep this distance. Don't allow the 66 to get in there. 19 to go. At this point, I would say the 2 needs to be hoping for no more cautions and just continue to do what he's doing, hitting his marks, rolling it into the corner, having that dip down in the corner, and then have it shoot you right out the backside with all the momentum it can. And the 66 is just shoving it into the corner, sliding it through, and not able to get back to the gas as fast. As now he's making up a little bit.
He's closing a couple hundredths at a time, but you see the line that he's taking or that he's choosing to take. Watch him go down into turn 1 right here. As you see, the 2 goes just a little bit lower than what the 66 wants to. He's pinning it across the grass and touching the white line, almost getting into the grass there as they go through the corner. The 66 is working his way from the middle all the way down to the bottom, and he's turning a lot. So he's scrubbing just a little bit, but he's not going to gain a whole lot of speed and a whole lot of time if he keeps running the line that he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to help him. I mean, it's helping him a little bit here and there, but the 2's actually got a problem with a lap car out in front of him. He's got to hope that 98 just gets completely out of the way with 15 laps to go. The 98 is multiple laps down, I believe. I think 21 laps down. The 98 should just pull off on a front stretch or back stretch and just let the 2 leaders go. You don't want to be that guy. As he takes the inside, slides up to the outside, 2's trying to get around him. It allowed the 66 to creep in real close as the 98 is up in the wall.
That was a smart move, though, for the 98 to get out of the way, not impede the leaders. Now it's down to under 0.4 of a second, because now you started to see the 66 might be paying attention to this broadcast because he's going lower on the racetrack than the 2 is now.
Yeah, he just got either really loose or really tight coming off that corner as you saw the front end shift to the right as he tried to correct it. So I don't know if the back end spun out a little bit or if he was just really tight and pushing and tried to get the car to turn. But he lost some time there. But that lap car, he did get out of the way, but I don't know if he got out of the way quick enough. I think it hurt the 2 a little bit to try to figure out where the 98 was going to go. And then when the 98 took the inside line, the 2 thought he was going to go to the outside, but then the 98 came up. And the 2 had to dive it underneath him. So that did hurt him a little bit, but now, as you see, the 2 has set sail again on the 66, and 66 is giving it everything he's got. You can see the car coming around. You can see him whipping it, trying to get it to turn down through the corner and carry the speed. It's a struggle right now to try to do it. What he really needs to do is just watch the 2 and just see that he's laying back, going into the corner, and then just rolling it out. On those fresh tires, he should be able to creep in. as we see another lap car in the way of the 2.
Yeah, that right there. The lap car right here has really cost a lot of time. He
Yeah,
lost about 7
I think
tenths
the
of
leader's a
seconds.
little
He makes
pissed about
contact
that
with
one.
him. Oh, yeah, he got up in the back bumper of him. I mean, you have to think as a lap car.
I mean, he's 5 laps down.
Yeah, do you want to impede the leaders? And
he's
going
to turn the leader.
Them a lot. He's about to. Oh shit!
Yeah, if I was the 2, I'd be a little mad about that. I don't know if that's a teammate of the 66 or a friend or something like that, but that was a little close. Oh, the 66 dives it in there and hits the 2 and shoves him up out of the way. We have another caution out on track, and I believe it's the 54.
I wouldn't care if it was a teammate or not. That's a bonehead move. I mean, that's a move right there that if you're gonna make, you really have to be consistent with what you're doing, and that in my opinion was dumb, because you look at him, he comes down off the corner and he just pinches. He gets the run off the exit and he goes down into the corner. He pinches the 2 all the way down. Teammate or not, that's nuts.
Trying to figure out where this caution was. I know the 66 was. Ah, there it is. I think he was trying to come down pit road and spun it. I don't know. What do you think of that, Terry?
I mean, the way we've seen cautions here this afternoon, it's just been time after time of everybody wanting to fight one another, and the 66, on the other hand, he comes down pit lane or tries to, and he just misses it. He misses the mark altogether, and unfortunately, the caution bug plagues again. But now we talked about the 71 putting the bumper to somebody too early. Well, now the 66 has to worry about that 2 on a good restart again.
Yeah, if I was the 2, I would, at this point, with the 54 doing what he just did with the 2, kind of, backing on him all the way up to the 66, then kind of getting into him. Then the 66 straight drove it in the corner and gave the 2 a shove. 4 laps to go. There are going to be 3 laps to go when we go green. If I was the 66, I would be thinking that 2 is probably going to be coming with some payback, because he's been leading this race. He has not pitted. He's on 97 lap old tires with 3 laps to go. I don't know. I would probably say he's probably going to shove it in there and move the 66 out of the way. That's what I would be worried about if I was the 66. But, I mean, as a driver for the 66, he's probably only worried about, hitting that restart as best as he can, getting into that corner as far as he can, dive it in there as far as you can to get away from the 2, to try not to give him any room to hit you. 66 jumps it a little bit before the restart box. 2's right on the outside of the door, though.
He timed it.
He's turning down into him. 66 comes up. 12 is now underneath the 2.
12's going to have to be the one to make this move, because he's going to bottleneck the 2 up right there going into 3. He makes contact with the 2. It doesn't phase him, though. Here they come out of 4, white flag.
Now you can see the 2 is trying to dive it in there to get to him, but he just, with the 12 on the inside of him, he can't. Ooh, he hits the wall, takes the 12 out.
Oh. That should be the caution.
That's a green-white caution, or a green-white flag. Green-white checkered, I mean.
This is starting to get intense.
Yeah, I think the 2 is going to be very unhappy with this race. But that's going to put Cryer out front with the second place in points in second and first in points in third.
I couldn't imagine what the 2 has to be mad about, other than basically getting booted out of the way by somebody that was racing for last. I think that's the only reason that
kind of reminds me of the Chase Elliott situation with Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
And wasn't it a teammate that was behind Harvick that chased him down and wound up winning that race? So
well, Sean English racing, that's not nice to say. Keep it PG.
Yeah, definitely keep it PG.
You must. But here's the thing that I would say, when when it comes to a position like that. Unfortunately, that's the type of racing and that's the product of racing that you're going to find at a short track. And it's all across the board. It's NASCAR, it's dirt, it's modifieds, it's wherever that you race when you have a teammate.
Hell,
or
we
a
see it on
friend,
road courses.
yeah, that's racing for the lead. Unfortunately, that's the type of stupidity that you're going to deal with. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards anybody out here, but that was dumb. You know, you're racing the leaders. They're racing for a win. They're racing for something bigger than what you are. You're 6-7 laps down. You have no reason to be racing anybody with any competition whatsoever because your race was already ruined. It's already done. So stop taking away from the leader of what they're supposed to do. And unfortunately, the two had, in my opinion, had the best car. He had led the majority of the laps and just got absolutely screwed for no reason.
Well, now with 1 to green, it's going to be a green-white checkered. 66 of Cryer is going to be the inside car in the lead. The 20, who's in second in points, looking for that overall regular season point total win, is going to be second on the outside. And first place of 38 of Braden Goddard is going to be on the inside second row, as we have another caution coming out right on the restart. Not sure what that was about. A few more cars wrecking back there. I believe that's third place in points. Elvis. Oh, the 38 gets turned around as well. I'm not sure. That was a caution. I don't know why they were still racing, but
they were still racing because they weren't paying attention.
So that's the 4 of Elvis. That's third in points. And that's the 2 of Hall still trying to come back up through the field now. That was the 12 of Keller that was also involved with the 2 earlier. And then after this, Braden Goddard got turned. I'm not sure what was going on there.
Tempers are heating up out here, man.
The 180, that is... that's Johnson. Oh, he's back on the lead lap, too. He was in 4th. But he completely ran over the 38 there after the yellow flag was out. So I'm not... I would think the 38 would be back in his position. But it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, they didn't move him back up, but it put the 3 in a good position here on the second attempt for a green-white checker to see what he can do.
So that moves Goddard into 6th. That moves Holden still in 2nd. That's only 4 points that Holden's going to gain. He needs 2 more points to tie. And then he actually would get the win for the regular season points because he has the most wins between the 2 of them. All Goddard has to do is stay here in the top 6, and he's got the regular season championship wrapped up.
That's easier said than done so far in this race.
It is going to be another green-white checker. Holden is going to be in the inside row, or inside first row. Do you think Holden tries to go for the win to get that extra points?
I would.
He's going to need them to be able to beat Goddard. If Goddard stays 6th, he's got to win the race.
I mean, I think somebody's got to be in his ear letting him know.
Ooh, Holden gets a jump, but he's got to let off.
Yeah, he can't beat the leader there.
Don't look now, but Hall's back in 3rd.
Yeah, I think Hall's pissed. Well, I don't think. I know he's pissed. There's no sense to not be as... here they come, and the 20 has this lead. And he moves him.
Hall moved the 20 into the 66, and the 66 just turned the 2. Woo! And the caution was out, so that should put Hall back in 2nd.
That should have been the race.
Yeah, they weren't past the line yet.
Well, no, it's...
Oh, they're going to finish under caution.
Yeah, we've been through the attempts, and the 20 holds the win.
Oh, the 38 just got wrecked by the 180.
Oh, they're wrecking one another now. Oh, tempers are flaring.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some...
There's some pissed off people at the
Ooh,
end of this
look at that.
Just shoved him.
Yeah, look at the 180 just come out of nowhere and just run over the 38. Full speed ahead, which took out the 2.
Over. Holden takes the win, and looks like it's showing Goddard P3. Goddard shows his displeasure there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some clarification at the end of this race and see what exactly happens here with the points.
Well, it looks like the 66s fell off the map. If this is
Yeah, I don't know where he went. He fell back to 13th.
Oops.
Think he didn't realize that the race was not over until they come across the line, like right here.
It says 1 to green on my screen for some reason, so.
Yeah. This is interesting.
All right, let's see if we can get the top 3, which I believe is going to be Holden, Hall, and Goddard, into the booth. All right, we're going to pull the top 3 in. I believe that is going to be Goddard, Hall, and Holden. And looks like we got Goddard, we got Holden. Looks like we now got Hall. All right, so that's going to be the top 3. Terry, you can go ahead and take 3rd place, which I believe is Braden Goddard.
Well, Mr. Goddard, was an interesting event from your angle. How was the car, man?
You know, it was pretty good, and then the 180, took me out over caution when I was contending for, the points battle, and flat out took me out. So, a bit ticked off about that. Could have had a contend. We could have contended for the points, but 180 had different plans in mind.
We'll talk about that. How I don't normally, get into the beef issue of it, but man, talk about that. What caused that? Like, what led up to you two getting mad at one another and almost throwing hands out there? I'm pretty sure I saw somebody throw a helmet.
Oh, nothing. I did nothing to the 180, and then he just flat out took me out. I do want to congratulate Tyler. It's a well-deserved points champion. I mean, he won 2 races this season. I didn't win nothing. I was contending for the points lead. So, I don't know what Chris did. I don't know if it's because they're on the same team or something, but it's just completely bullcrap.
Wait, so did that take you out of the 3rd position?
Yeah, it took me out of 3rd position. I had to go all the way from the back, and then it moved me back up to 3rd.
So did you finish 3rd or not?
I don't know what happened. We're trying to figure that out.
Because on the thing it says you finished 3rd.
It's supposed to be the 180 getting DQ'd and DQ'd Kendrick, but we're trying to figure out. He said he wasn't in points battle, so he said not to worry about it. And then I got someone else telling me to worry about it. So we're trying to figure that out. So go ahead and give Kendrick an interview too.
Okay. Yeah, we were trying to figure that out because it shows you 3rd, but then it showed you like 9th or something at the same time. So flip-flopping back and forth there.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out right now.
All right, so you said Kendrick. That'd be Crier.
Yeah,
all right. I'll get him up here too. All right, so Terry, go ahead and take Crier too to give him his recognition for 3rd place as well because we're trying to figure that out.
Well, Mr. Crier, congratulations on a tie for P3, it seems.
And he left.
He ain't listening. Good. Well, Crier, he wishes everybody the best of luck, and congratulations on P3. And thanks, Terry. You're welcome, Crier.
Real quick, I do want to thank everyone for racing this season. Of course, I want to congratulate Tyler again because it's a well-deserved points champion. Yeah, that's all for me.
Do you get bonus points for winning the race, Braden? Is that how that's working? Because you were 6 points up.
He gets. You got to remember you have throwouts.
Okay. All right. That's what I was trying to figure out. So yeah, but congrats on third. If you got third, I guess we'll see what happens there. But going into the playoffs here, what are you looking to go into the playoffs with? I know we're taking the week off next week, and then going into the three-race session or three-race playoff series. What are you thinking there? You were
Well,
obviously the guy that led the most in
just have to
points without the win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can just have to dry my butt off and hopefully run into the 180 so I can give him a little kiss back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations. We'll see what the points look like after this race once you guys get that figured out. But going to Hall, finishing second. Caleb, you got a copy. All right, buddy. We saw you out front. You did not pit until I did. You pit? I know you got sent to the back with that wreck that happened. You kind of got screwed over by I believe that was a 54 that held you up with the 66 behind you. But for the longest time, I didn't think you pitted. It was like 97 laps the last time I saw it. But even on those old tires, you were able to hold off a lot of guys. The 71 looked really fast as well, but then disappeared halfway through the race. Then you had to contend with the 20 and the 66. You were able to hold off those guys, but then, like I said, the 54 really kind of pulled a dirty move, or what I would call the Elliott move, and slowed you up and let the 66 get right to you. And then the 66 gave you a little bump going into the corner, which is short track racing, so not too much of a bigger issue there, as he didn't spin you, but he did push you up the track. What were you thinking then? And then you drove back up here to second.
Yeah, there was first of all, there was no need to get tires. The setup was already loose enough. With the new tires on the Super, it was just gonna take grip away. We set the fastest lap on like lap 92 on those old tires, so I knew we didn't really need them. But the 54 slammed brakes, slowed us up and everything, and allowed the 66 to get to us. Then he moved me because that's the only shot he had, and then hit the wall for two, got in the 12, we spun. We came back up there to if the caution wasn't going to come out, I can almost guarantee you we would you wouldn't be talking to me right now because we wouldn't have got the first yet. But everything was good. I just don't like the whole team playing deal where they slow everybody up so the slower car can get up there. But first race in the series, after we got around the slower cars in front and actually got to the lead, we absolutely dominated and they had nothing for us. We just got screwed at the end.
You were definitely one of the, for sure, fastest cars right there with the 66. But he stopped to take tires after that, like, I think it was like the eighth caution. He stopped to get tires, and you stayed out, which put him back into the middle of the field and got caught up in one of the incidents and then made it through, got back up to you, but you still we were watching the lap times and watching the separation between the two of you, and he was diving it deep into the corner and making up about 3/10 as he was going into the corner. But you were, from my point, it looked like you were letting off a little earlier and then rolling it through the corner. And as it dips into that corner, and then you kind of carried that dip where it shoots you out of the corner as you got into the gas, and you were able to stretch it back out 3/10 every single lap until that 54 was in the way. But you said this was your first race in the series?
Yeah, I've been in the series for a little bit. I just haven't found the time to actually race. And then we chose tonight. I love Wilkesboro, and we kind of proved it by simply putting it on these boys tonight. But sucks that we didn't get it done. But we'll come back in 2 weeks and see if we can put it on them even more.
We'll definitely look forward to seeing what you do throughout the playoffs. I don't know if that qualifies you for the playoffs, but you can still go out there and steal the wins from the guys who are racing in the playoffs. Definitely get trophy hunt and all that kind of stuff, but and prove your point. But definitely a great race to watch. Definitely enjoyed seeing you up front. Ran your butt off, like you said. Like I said, we'll look forward to seeing what you do next week. Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, I want to thank Dakota Todd and Sean English for keeping me calm and not absolutely trashing the people under caution. Speed Shop 51 for the best asphalt and dirt setups on the service. LSG Graphics, Verdict Clothing, and Clayton Tilley Designs.
Nice. Well, English was definitely out there in the chat rooting you on. At one point said you got screwed, so I think he was throwing the shots out there for you on chat. But definitely appreciate everybody that you had out there in the chat watching and paying attention to the stream and everything. But again, we'll see what you do in 2 weeks and see if you can bring it home next week. or in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, Terry, we got the first place winner tonight at North Wilkesboro for the limited iRacing series. Also claims and clinches the regular season points, and that is Tyler Holden. He wins 2 of the first races in the season back to back, then goes all season without a win until the very last race of the regular season. Tyler, you got a copy.
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, bud. You bring home your 3rd win of the season. It's been a little while since we've seen you in victory lane. Like I said, you won the first 2 races of the season, and then just kind of kept your points. You got screwed last week with getting caught up into several incidents, and I think you got wound up putting on pit road and just sitting there waiting. But that backed you up in the points a little bit. We were talking about before those last laps were run, that you really just needed to go out here and just take the win and try to get those points from Braden, and you were able to do it. What was your strategy for the night? And then, after some of the melee was going on, what were you thinking? And at the end there, how did you pull away and get the win?
Well, I had a 5th place car all night, and the front people were getting really aggressive at the end, and I just kept my nose clean like I usually do. I got away from that last race, and I got a good restart, and the 2 car kind of gave me a shove going into 3 and 4, and I got into the 66 by mistake, and I want to apologize for that.
All right. Well, Terry, you got any questions for Tyler?
Yeah, man. How does it feel to be Babe Ruth and have a walk-off? I don't know if you heard me.
Feels pretty good. I'm glad to win. It gives me momentum. I've been struggling the last couple of weeks, so.
Well, Tyler, that puts
Good
you
win,
first
man.
in the playoffs. What are you expecting for the playoffs?
I just have to keep my nose clean and make it to the end. And at the end, all heck goes loose. Hopefully, go across the finish line first, like tonight.
All right, well, for the playoffs, it looks like it is Lucas Oil Raceway first, then Five Flag Speedway. I really enjoy that track. Then we go to the biggest track I believe we've run all season, and that's going to Charlotte. Any of those 3 your favorites, least favorites, anything like that?
Charlotte is very unique. We don't race there a lot in super late models, and there's a lot of drafting, and you need good teammates and good people to push you.
Well, we'll definitely see what you bring to the table for these next 3 races. After next week's week off, you're going to have an extra week to practice after the admins decided to skip next week. So going into Lucas Oil Raceway, not sure I've ever raced there, but Five Flags, I really enjoy that track. It's kind of a gritty kind of short track, so I kind of like that one. Charlotte, obviously, like you said, drafting is going to be key. Having teammates to work with, or other drivers who don't mind working with you. It's also 25 for the first race in the playoffs for winning that race, 25 for the second race, and 150 to the winner at the 3rd race. So big money coming. That's $200 if you can win all 3. We'll look to see if you can roll the dice and come up snake eyes on each one of those tracks and pull away in the playoffs for the standings and come home with the championship at the end of the season. Any last shout-outs for you, bud?
I just want to thank Dark Moon Motorsports. They're my team. They helped me with my brake bias and steering ratios and stuff on these fixed setups. That's key. And Braden Goddard, he raced me clean all season. Don't think we made one incident together.
Well, that's definitely a respectful way to do that with other drivers in the field. I definitely appreciate all you guys coming out and putting on the show. Week in and week out, it's fun to watch you guys run around here and chase each other around for 100, 125 laps. A lot of great racing, a lot of great drivers in this series, and definitely can't wait to see what happens for the 3-week playoff stint that you guys have coming up in 2 weeks. So appreciate everybody out there in chat. Appreciate Mama Vols out there. Appreciate Josh, Sean English, SS Motorsports, a few others that commented throughout the race. Appreciate everybody, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks at Lucas Oil Raceway.